On this episode, we talk about site flows, converting views to sales, and someone stealing your idea. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 50 of the AskEngine show. We are excited to get back to regular scheduled programming. Joe, our videographer, was just gallivanting through Seattle and LA all last week because that's what college kids do on spring break. So we are excited to jump back in. Episode 50.
Yeah.
We've come so far. Like, it looks like the dark ages, like our first episode out on the couch,
right.
Like just like really low light. So
it's gotten better and better every few episodes.
We'll see like episode 1000. Like, I'm really interested to see what happens then.
We're just in like super nice plush chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Gold-plated walls.
Gold-plated walls. That'd be ridiculous. Awesome. So we got 3 questions for you today. We're gonna go ahead and jump in. Blake, if you'll start us off.
Yeah. First question from r/e-commerce. What should the behavior flow look like on my e-commerce store? Well,
great question.
Yeah, you need to see people moving from their landing page, exploring product, and then moving to checkout and finally getting to the thank you page. Mm-hmm. That's the ideal goal. If you're seeing people moving from collection to collection and then bouncing, you've got a problem with your collections page. If you see people moving from homepage to collection to product and then bouncing, you've got a problem converting off of your products.
Yeah, and you've also got to think about the quality of the person hitting your website and why they're hitting your website. So this is also it also depends on how you're driving traffic. When you're going in, let's say you're driving traffic to a piece of content, it's going to go content, click out to product page. You're probably going to bypass the collections page unless you're writing a piece of content about a collection that you've just put out, a lookbook, things of that nature. So the user experience is going to differ based on the journey that you want them to take, whether it be content, product page, or collection product page, things of that nature. Where you're really, in the last part of that question, where you're really going to struggle is if your checkout experience is long. Mm-hmm. The closer you can get to a single page checkout, the better your conversion is going to be theoretically.
Yep. If you're locked into a platform that forces you into multi-stage checkout, I would look at alternative solutions to making that checkout a single-page experience. Whether that's replatforming, whether that's using a third-party tool to get a one-page checkout experience, that can really be a huge benefit for most stores. Even if it's a slight domain change, like if it's checkout.yourstorename.com, that's better than a 4-page checkout like you see most Shopify stores using.
Yep. Perfect. Question number 2.
Yeah, this dovetails nicely into question number 2. It's how do I convert views on my store to sales?
Perfect. So the question, you need to take a step back if you're asking this question. So traffic is great, but the great thing about traffic and also the bad thing about traffic is it exposes a business. If you're not traffic ready from a website perspective, you can drive all the traffic you want to in the world, but you're just pouring water onto asphalt at that point. You have nothing to catch the water. So when you're looking at traffic ready, the 3 things that I'm going to be looking at when I'm auditing a website or when I'm talking to someone who's just starting out is, are you able to collect the data that you need to collect on new users to your site? Is your site quantitative and qualitatively optimized? Like, is it branded? Is it coherent? Does it make sense? Do you have your Facebook pixel, Google, Twitter, Snapchat? Do you have all of these things in place that you need to have in place before you drive traffic? And then do you know your stats? So do you know your conversion rates, things of that nature? Do you know your audience? So I'm looking at it as a site traffic ready. So how do you convert views to sales? You need to know what your conversion rate is, and you need to be testing against that. If your conversion rate is 3%, for every 100 people that visit your site, 3% convert, that's fantastic. You just need to drive more traffic to it. So that's what I look at. What do you got for me?
So I was thinking more from an offering perspective. Like, look at what you're selling on your site. If you are a mishmash of random things that you've picked off of AliExpress, you have no way to drive directed traffic. So you want to vector that traffic that says, I want to acquire people who are interested in X product line, whether it's handbags or whatever. If they land on your page and you're selling clothing and handbags and fidget spinners and cameras, they're not going to convert because it's a very unsteady experience for them. They don't know what you are. They don't know what you're offering. There's no way to build a brand around a smattering of offering like that.
Yeah, you at the end of the day, you've got to have trust. When you're shopping, let's say you go into a brand new store, you inherently don't have to have as much trust in that store owner because you can go in like. Who trusts Nordstrom's or Dillard's, before they became big? You don't have to trust them because you can go and you can touch, you can feel, you can try on, you can do all of these things that overcome objections in the buying process. E-commerce, you can't do that. So you've got to build trust, whether it be trust badges, payment gateways, and SSL. I mean, like, there's so many things that you can do to build trust on your website. And if you don't have those things, think about yourself as a consumer. Like, if someone came to you and said, hey, I want to give you $500, you'd probably walk away from them because they've not exhibited any signals of trust. Now, if they come in and it's your uncle and they said, hey, I want to give you $500, bet, I'll take you $500. So you've got to have those signals of trust in place, and a massive signal of trust is coherence across a website. If I can buy fidget spinners and $500 purses from your website, you're not doing something right, is my opinion.
Yeah. Last question from r/entrepreneur: how do I stop someone from stealing the idea behind my brand?
You don't. That's episode 50.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. It comes down to execution. I mean, when you're looking at this, you can't stop someone from stealing your idea because your idea is meaningless. What is the idea of Gucci? What is the idea of Nike? You know, they've just executed at a level that raises them raises them to the cream of the crop. If you're asking this question, it almost tells me that you shouldn't be going into business, because if you're worried about other people stealing what you do, like, that's a precursor to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get copied.
50 other people are working on the same idea you're working on. Guaranteed. You need to execute it better than they do and work harder at it. And that's how you win. That's how you prevent people from stealing your idea, is by executing it better and quicker.
Yeah. And then what does your brand mean to other people? There are an infinite amount of people selling X. What makes someone buy from you besides someone else is the story you tell them. So at the end of the day, your story makes you unique. Your company's story makes your company unique. And that's why you have to focus. I mean, wrapping all 3 questions up in this, that's why you've got to focus on your brand. You don't matter to someone until they know what your brand is about. And if you're not good at telling that story, you're going to struggle in e-commerce, as well as just in any business. Cool. Question of the day. What do you think about branding? What do you think about what makes a site, what makes one site better than another? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And let's take it a little bit higher level than just like trust badges. Check out like actually what makes your site or a site that you watch or look at different from others. We would love to know your thoughts. Thank you all for watching. We're excited to be back, and we will talk to you tomorrow.